Last year, I applied for 100 UI and UX positions. I got 20 rejections, 69 non-responses, 20 interviews with 10 different companies, and only one official offer. I thought I was unique in applying to so many positions, but after talking to my designer friends, I realized I am not alone. Unless someone was specifically found by a recruiter, it was anywhere between 50 to 500 applications before someone got a job. It made me reflect on that period of looking for work, and in hindsight, there are definitely things I would have done differently to get better results if I was applying for a junior or intermediate position as a designer. Before I dive into this topic, I want to say, hi, I'm Jen Drews and welcome to my channel. I talk about all things from career, tech, to design. In this series, I'm going over how to break into tech and land a job. If this is something you're interested in, please take a second, hit that like button, and then subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Alright, back to applying for jobs. The question really is, why are beginner and intermediate UX designers applying for so many roles? And what can you do differently if you want a better success rate? Landing a job really comes down to a few factors. So how is the tech industry doing? How well are you able to present yourself as a designer to potential companies? And how good are your technical skills? How is the tech industry doing? Well, not good. This last year has been hard for tech workers. The untouchable growth bubble that tech was inside of burst, and with that, there has been less risk-averse venture capitalists, more layoffs, and a market that is flooded with skilled workers who aren't finding jobs. I'm not saying this to be overly negative or to tell people not to look into tech at all, but if you're not hearing back from companies, sometimes it really is a case of it's the economy and not necessarily your resume. 69% of companies didn't even respond to me, and 20% just straight up rejected me. In that, I wasn't getting feedback on what I was doing wrong. And it's really easy to want to give up when you're just getting negative feedback. This is when you have to keep pushing through and keep applying for new jobs. Especially when the market is not great, don't focus too heavily on being rejected. How good are you at selling yourself as a designer? A lot of videos and articles tell you to just memorize your resume. Well, do that, but let's go one step further. What is your elevator pitch? This is your 30 seconds to a minute to capture someone's interest and tell them why they should hire you. In this short speech, you should talk about your education, your career journey, and some of your interests. And make sure to curate this towards the company. A tech company probably isn't that interested in my past jobs bartending, but if they're a food app, maybe I could mention how I worked in hospitality and what I learned from that experience. The main thing they're looking for is, how could you fit with our organization? They're checking to see if you're a culture fit and if you think like a designer. To do this, do some mock interviews to practice your answers and then spend some time researching the company. You want to be able to ask some educated questions back to the interviewer. Some of my go-to questions are, why is this role open now? Are you replacing or scaling? And how do you measure impact at this company? If you impress the company with your sparkling personality, they'll move you on to the next round, which is technical interviews. For many companies, there are 2 rounds of technical interviews. The first is presenting a case study, and the second is a design test. It is never a good idea to just wing it when presenting a case study. Create visually appealing slides, write out a script, and present it as many times as you need to until you sound confident and comfortable talking about it. Don't forget to include your design process in your presentation. Some things you can show are wireframes, user flows, background research. The design test, on the other hand, is harder to prepare for, but what you can do is make sure you're up to date on relevant software like Figma, and then you can do practice thought experiments. Give yourself an hour and a topic like food delivery app to think through how to start a project. Think of user flows, screen ideas, and what type of research you'd want to conduct. Thought experiments like this are very useful for helping you stay focused and calm during a test. If I was to go back in time and do it all over again, I would have spent a lot more time researching companies and preparing for interviews. I lost out on 4 different jobs, most likely because I didn't do well on the test, which is no surprise considering I hardly practiced for them. Instead, I was putting more energy into new job applications. I was lucky that the company who hired me is great, but if you don't have a clear idea of what kind of company you want to work for, you could miss some massive red flags and accept an offer to a place you want to quit after a month. Yes, it can be disheartening to not hear back from companies and keep being rejected. Of the jobs I applied to, only 1% of them wanted to work with me, but all you need is one offer from one company. If you're a designer, what was your experience applying for jobs? And if you have any other tips on landing a role, write it in the comments below. As always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.